Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about how to solve radical equations. So there are several steps that we use. The first thing that we want to do is get the radical expression alone. So you locate the square root or cube root or whatever root it is, you're going to get it alone. Now we're dealing with square roots specifically in our course, so you're going to square to remove the radical. If it was a cube root, you'd cube. If it was a fourth root, you'd raise it to the fourth power. So you're just going to get rid of that radical. Then you're going to just solve for x. Now we have to be careful because we squared. So it's really important to do step 4. You have to take whatever you get for x, put it back into the original equation, and make sure it actually does work. Because a lot of times with these, you'll get what we call an extraneous solution. Something that looks like it's going to work, but it actually won't because of this squaring that we did earlier. So let's do an example and I'll show you how it works. Okay, what I'm going to do in this equation is I'm going to get my radical alone. So I'm actually going to add the 2 minus x, the square root of 2 minus x, to the other side. And I'm going to subtract the 2x from that side. And the reason I'm doing that is because this was negative. And I don't want it to be negative. So if I was to add it, I would get 2x plus the square root of 2 minus x equals 1. And now I'll subtract the 2x on both sides. Okay, so that is now my equation. Okay, so my radical is now alone. Here's the radical part. Here's everything else. Now I'm going to square both sides of my equation to get rid of that radical. So this squared is just 2 minus x because the square root and the squaring would cancel itself out. And then this is going to get squared as well. And if you know your special products, that squaring is very easy. You square the first term. 1 squared is 1. You do 2 times 1 times negative 2x to get negative 4x. And then you square your last term. Negative 2x squared is positive 4x squared. Okay, so that is the squared portion of this. Now we need to solve this. Notice it is a quadratic, so what I'm going to do is get everything to one side and find the zeros. So I'm going to reorder this. My 4x squared is going to be first, minus 4x and plus 1. That's just putting it into standard form, which is always useful when we're dealing with quadratics. I'll add x to this side, and I will subtract 2. So I have 0 equals 4x squared minus 3x minus 1. Now, to find the zeros of this, I need to factor it. Or you could use the quadratic formula if you really want to. So first, I need to figure out what the product is. The product is going to be the a value times the c value. So my product is 4 times negative 1 or negative 4. And my sum is going to be this middle number here, negative 3. So I'm going to factor this into 4x. And I need two numbers that multiply to negative 4 and add to negative 3. So minus 4 and plus 1. Now I know this is wrong, but don't worry, I can fix it. Because these 4x's would multiply together to get 16x squared, and that's not what I have. But I can fix it. I just divide out the GCF in each of these. The GCF between 4x and 4 is just 4. And the GCF here is just 1. So if I divide that out, I'll have my factored form. This is my factored form. Now remember, the whole goal of factoring was to find the zeros. So the 0 here is 1, and the 0 here is negative 1/4. Now if you had trouble seeing that, what you can do is take this part, make it equal 0, subtract 1, and divide by 4. And there it is. Okay, so you can just take this binomial that's in the parentheses, make it equal to 0, and solve for x. Now, these are what I think the answers are. But remember, we have to do step 4. Check your answers to avoid extraneous solutions. So what I'm going to do for step 4 is I'm going to take these and put them back in. So I have 2 times 1 is equal to 1 minus the square root of 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, and 2 times 1 is 2. The square root of 1 is 1. Is 2 equal to 1 minus 1? No, it's not. 1 minus 1 is 0. This says 2 equals 0. That is wrong. So 1 is extraneous. It is not an answer. Now I'll put in negative 1/4. So I have 2 times negative 1/4 equals 1 minus the square root of 2 minus negative 1/4. Okay, so 2 times negative 1/4 is negative 1/2. And I have 1 minus 2 minus negative 1/4 is positive 2 and 1/4. And I want that as an improper fraction so it's easier to simplify. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. The square root of 9/4 is 3/2. And 1 minus 3/2 is negative 1/2. So that does work. So negative 1/4 is my answer here. So that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions about how to do this.